Now on the APEC VIP hotline, cutting-edge training for the serious athlete, apecgo.com. Joining us now, the head football coach of the Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks basketball team, Danny Kaspar. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good, Bryan.
Hey,
doing good.
Congratulations, off to a 5-0 start for the first time since the 81-82 season. Tell me about how your team's gotten off to such a good start.
Well, Bryan, we've won two very good road games. We beat Florida International of the Sun Belt League. I believe they're going to Conference USA after this year. And then we beat Tulsa at Tulsa. Those are two good road wins for us. That Tulsa is in Conference USA. And just recently, last Saturday, we beat a pretty good San Diego team out of the West Coast Conference, which is the Gonzaga Conference. And the players have been doing a great job on the defensive end, and we've shot the ball reasonably well against Florida International and Tulsa. On top of playing good defense against San Diego, we did not shoot it very well, but because we forced them in 20 turnovers and held them to 2 offensive rebounds, we were able to get out with the win.
Did you anticipate your team getting off to such a good start?
I didn't think we'd be 5-0. I was hoping maybe we could be 4-1 at this time, with the likelihood of being 3-2. I expected to win our home games. I did not know about the 2 road games. But I mean, God, if we play that well on the road, maybe we ought to schedule all our games on the road, huh? So they played well on the road thus far.
All right. I know going into the season you had 2 guys that were named to the preseason all-conference team, Taylor Smith and Antonio Bostic. Talk about their play so far and what you expect from them.
Well, Antonio was a first-team all-conference player last year. Now, he didn't score a lot of points. He only scored 11 points a game, but he did have some big games that were enough. Antonio's got to be a little bit more productive for us right now, Bryan. I want to say he's right between 9 and 10 points a game. Now, in all fairness to him, we played a couple of non-D1s, and, we beat him soundly, and he played only probably 20 minutes in those 20 minutes a game in those 2 games. But, we need more production offensively from him. He's doing a very good job on defense. He's a long 2-guard, shooting guard, 6'3", 6'3.5", with very long arms, and so I'm pleased with his defensive performance this year. I just need him to be a little bit more productive offensively. Taylor Smith has done a great job in all games. He's rebounded the ball well, defended reasonably well, great shot blocker, and number, I think, tied for second in the conference in rebounding. So, I think Antonio will get it going. They're both very, very fine young men, and they're. I think if we can keep them healthy, they'll do a good job for us this year.
And tell me about Jacob Parker, a guy that had a big ball game for you against Tulsa.
Well, he was highly motivated because Tulsa talked to him out of high school, but wanted him to walk on a year and then give him a scholarship. And then the coach that told him he would do that got let go. So I think in hindsight, he's very glad he didn't do that. But Jacob was not recruited by Oral Roberts or Tulsa, and he lives right outside of Tulsa. So the young man had a little bit more motivation with that in mind, and also mom, dad, girlfriend, grandparents all in the stands. So I thought he'd be a little jacked up going into the game, and he was. He shot the ball well, and I think he got like 15 points, 6, 7 rebounds. I'd like to get that from him more often. I think he's only averaging about 7 or 8 a game right now, and I told him he's capable of averaging 10 or 11.
Any of your other kids that have really come on strong for you so far?
I think the surprise player thus far is Hal Bateman. This is a young man that I knocked heads with last year as a JUCO transfer, and there were some games he played 2 or 3 minutes last year in the first semester because of what I considered strong-mindedness, for lack of a better word, and I think he's decided, hey, it's better to buy in and play than to battle and sit, and he's playing 33, 34 minutes a game. He's leading the league with 7 assists a game, and that's one thing I've asked him to do: play better defense, run the team, don't make yourself the first option. You're going to be a much more popular player with your teammates, and we're going to win more if you do this. And thus far, he's doing that. And without a doubt, he was our MVP against Tulsa. because he had 11 assists, 2 rebounds, almost 10 points, right around 9 or 10 points, and I mean stole the ball on 5 or 6 steals. So one of those quiet assassins, so to speak, in that game right there.
Talk a little bit about your early signing period too. You had a nice recruiting year.
Yeah, I was real pleased. We signed 4 high school players, 3 out of the Houston area, 1 out of Central Texas, Copperas Cove, and in particular, there's a young man named Caven Tilbury who's out of Cypress Falls High School. Who, I never thought we'd sign a player of that caliber, but we signed a player last year. He's a freshman this year that is good friends with him, and we just got in there, battled, and we were able to get him, and he's a 6'6", 6'6.5", wing forward, power forward who can, I think he's averaging like 20-some points a game for his high school team, and he's probably the most heralded recruit we signed. We also got a young man with pretty good credentials coming out of Copperas Cove, Texas, and he's averaging 21 a game, 22 a game for his team, and I went to go see him play a week ago today in Austin. He shot the 3, he made 2 or 3 threes, and on a steal, he broke away on a steal, and he's about 6'1" or 2, and one of their 6'3" or 4 athletes tried to cut him off and block his shot, and he just dunked over him, and I didn't know he could do that. I knew he could do some other things, but I didn't know he could do that. And then we signed a guard named Ellis Moore out of Klein Oak High School, who is probably the most unknown player, but we think he has a great deal of potential. He's about 5'11", 6-foot combo guard who can score. He's unselfish, which is what I love about him. I think he can really score points, but he's unselfish. And then our final signee is a 6'7", 6'8", power forward center out of Houston Episcopal High School, who is probably a little bit more going to be more role-oriented player versus the other 3.
Well, it sounds like the future's bright, though.
Yes, and Kendall Remlell is his name, and he's a big, strong young man who rebounds, and I think he could be a pretty good sized fella before we get out of here. And he had a little meniscus tear, not serious, but that's kept him out of games thus far this year. But they've assured me it's nothing that is going to affect him down the road, and his doctors, and so we feel good about our recruiting class.
No, congratulations then. Now, you go to College Station to take on Texas A&M tomorrow night, and this will be the SFA looking for its first win over the Aggies since the 70-71 season. What are your chances?
Well, I do think that we can beat them. They're very big, as usual, and that's a concern of mine, preventing them from getting second or third shots on us. They have a very good outside player, Nelson Turner. And, no, they're a good basketball team. I can see them winning, 18 to 21 games this year. But I don't think they're it's not like they're unbeatable at their place. I mean, I do think that if we play like we did against Tulsa, and even maybe even Florida International, that we have a chance to win. I mean, and when you go to these games and they pay you big money to come play them, and they never return the game, I mean, you're using their officials. The odds are against you. You have to shoot the ball reasonably well and play very good defense. And probably the biggest thing is not get killed on the boards, because the size differential is the biggest, the biggest thing that stares at you when you look at it at the tape. So they're going to be bigger than we are, and we just got to play big. I told the kids, and we can't make a lot of turnovers, and we got to shoot a decent percentage. And let's play the kind of type of defense we've been playing thus far. Bryan, we're leading the country in defensive scoring, and we have one of the better defensive field goal percentages allowed in the country. And I just, if we continue to play like that, we can win a lot of games. And of course, obviously, no one can get hurt.
Yeah, and injuries were such a problem last year, so I know you don't want to go through another year like that.
No, God forbid.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the start. We wish you the best of luck going to A&M over the week, tomorrow night, as a matter of fact, and we look forward to talking to you down the line. Look forward to seeing you play a few times this year.
Well, thank you, Bryan. Come see us.
We'll do it. Thanks very much, Coach.
Bye-bye.
Danny Kaspar from Stephen F. Austin on Bryan Houston Sports Radio Live on 99.3 Talk FM.